Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have two articles for you in this episode. Both the URLs are in the description of the video if you'd like to pull them up to take a look at them for yourself. If you are interested at all in what has gone on with the Bundy trial in Las Vegas, Nevada, or the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge situation out in Oregon and the trial that's going on out there, you'll be interested in these articles. The first one I have here is off of redoubtnews.com, and it says, updated, Jason Patrick ordered to leave his own federal hearing. Up. Jason Patrick is one of the final four defendants in the Malheur protest trial due to begin next week, February the 14th. As with all trials, there are pretrial hearings and more business to conduct before jury selection. Patrick, who is representing himself with a standby counsel, Andrew Colmetz, attempted to enter the Mark O. Hatfield Federal Courthouse in Portland, Oregon, this morning to attend his pretrial hearing. He reported that the U.S. Marshals would not allow him entrance and ordered him to leave. Entering the courthouse today should have been no different than any other day. Patrick observed most of the trial in that courthouse last fall when Ammon Bundy and others were found not guilty, but today was his own hearing, which he was required to attend. Yesterday, it was reported that when Judge Anna Brown entered the courtroom, Patrick did not stand. She questioned him about it. Is there a reason you didn't stand, Mr. Patrick? Judge Brown asked. Patrick replied, I'll stand for the jury. Judge Brown seemed to accept that. When she said, all right, then we'll leave it at that. Maybe it wasn't as easy as that. Maybe it was her way of enforcing her power to get him to stand and acknowledge her authority. It will be interesting to hear her response. Patrick posted very little information on his Facebook page. It says, attention, please like, share, and comment on this post. I was just ordered to leave the courthouse by U.S. Marshals. There were over 100 shares and 70 comments at last check. Patrick made a few responses to questions, but one comment, when he was asked about what this meant, it means I could be shot for being there or hunted down and shot for not being there. The trial in Oregon for the final four seems to be playing out no differently. The first trial did. The federal authorities are back to playing their power games. And then there's an update to this. It says updated Jason on his page. It is a traumatic situation when I'm given conflicting orders from the court and then the marshals. I showed up on time and in person at the courthouse as I have since the beginning. The marshals refused my form as identification. He ordered me to leave the courthouse from the lobby, and I did. This order upset the judge because I was not present and on time in her courtroom. I was at a nearby coffee shop where there were also off-duty marshals who reported to the judge my location. The judge sent standby counsel to retrieve me from the coffee shop, and I was quickly rushed back into the courtroom. The judge ordered $100 fines for any and all who are late in the future. Have never been late, and I will never be late except by marshal's assumedly lawful order. When my religious principles meet their perceived power, these things tend to happen. Thank you again for sharing in my time of need and duress. I mean, can you imagine? You're supposed to be in court in past security because they don't like your ID. Yeah, wouldn't you think somebody could pick up a phone and say, hey, you know, I got this guy down here. Is he actually supposed to be up there in court? Do you want him or do we throw him out? I mean, couldn't somebody ask a question? These are adults. Or supposed to be adults, not 12-year-olds. You would think that somebody, I know 12-year-olds would have better sense than that. For crying out loud. Oh, I can't make this stuff up. The next one here is off of OregonLive.com, and it says, FBI admits no arrest warrant signed when Duane Ehmer was arrested, contrary to agents' testimony. FBI agents admit in court papers that they had no arrest warrant when they took Duane Ehmer into custody at a checkpoint outside the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge on January the 27th of 2016, contrary to an agent's testimony earlier in the week. It wasn't until the day after Ehmer's arrest that federal magistrate judge signed a criminal complaint against Ehmer based on an FBI agent's probable cause affidavit. Ehmer's lawyer, Michelle Kohler, has urged the court to suppress evidence found in what she contends was an unlawful search of Ehmer's car and horse trailer after his arrest without a warrant. Prosecutors and the FBI said they had probable cause to arrest Ehmer even if a judge hadn't yet signed a criminal complaint or arrest warrant. They also point out that Ehmer voluntarily signed an FBI consent form to search his vehicles. The ruling on the motion, suppress evidence, anticipated early next week, could affect the FBI's discovery of a maroon pouch stuffed under the passenger seat in Ehmer's Chevrolet Tahoe. It held cash and checks belonging to the Friends of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, a refuge employee ID card, and gas cards. An agent found the pouch while searching Ehmer's SUV a day after his arrest. Ehmer is charged with removal of government property, a misdemeanor in connection with the pouch. He also faces felony charges of conspiracy to impede federal employees and depredation of government property in connection with a 41-day occupation of the refuge in Harney County. In a declaration filed in court Thursday, FBI Special Agent Catherine Anderson said her probable cause affidavit filed the day after Ehmer's arrest details his Facebook post earlier in the month of January 2016, displaying photos and admissions that he was performing guard duty at the refuge during the takeover. While this affidavit was filed on January the 20th of 2016, all of the facts 9 through 64 were known to me several days before January 28th of 2016, and certainly before Ehmer's arrest on January the 27th of 2016, Anderson wrote. Prior to January 27th, 2016, I had communicated with several other members of the investigative team, including the case agents and supervisors, regarding the probable cause I had gathered on Ehmer. I therefore believe that the FBI had probable cause to arrest Ehmer on January 27th of 2016. FBI Special Agent Todd Scott, who is assigned to the agency's Denver division, had testified by phone earlier this week that he arrested Ehmer on a federal arrest warrant last winter. In a written memo filed in court Thursday, Scott said he didn't realize the warrant hadn't been issued until the day after Ehmer's arrest, until a prosecutor informed him after court this week. Prior to arresting Mr. Ehmer, I received information from the FBI command post that an active federal arrest warrant existed for Mr. Ehmer, Scott wrote. I did not question the validity of the information provided, nor did I review a copy of the arrest warrant, as is my normal practice. Due to the remoteness of my location, I did not have the ability to review the alleged arrest warrant. Assistant U.S. Attorney Craig Gabriel argues that Scott testified and acted in good faith. Given the fluid situation surrounding the occupiers leaving the refuge in late January 2016, Gabriel wrote, it is understandable that the agent at a remote roadblock received mistaken information that a warrant had been issued for Ehmer's arrest, when instead the FBI in Portland was in the process of preparing an affidavit for such a warrant, and therefore authorized a probable cause arrest of Ehmer on January the 27th of 2016. Gabriel asked the court to rely on the consent to search form that Ehmer signed about an hour after his arrest, when he was driven in an armored vehicle from the refuge checkpoint to Burns. Ehmer acknowledged in writing, I have been advised of my right to refuse consent, and I give consent voluntarily, and I authorize these agents to take any item which they determine may be related to their investigation, Gabriel wrote. Ehmer's lawyer has until the end of the week to file a response. U.S. District Judge Anna J. Brown is expected to issue a ruling before jury selection starts next Tuesday in the trial for Ehmer and 3 other occupiers. So there you have that. That's all I have in this episode. There's going to be at least one more, I think, episodes to follow. So if you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up. Share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And that way you'll stay informed.